it's after school, you know, calm little school day, calm little Monday. But I'm starting this little series about what I'm gonna do on my injury week. You know, basically it's a recovery week because I really don't take rest days besides the weekend. But you know, we ball, man. You know, the injuries are just experiences to thrive off of. You know, we can't really force anything. But you know, I'm making protein PB&Js right now. If you really tapped into the earlier videos, you know that I showed you guys how to make them. But what do I do when I'm injured? Well, I'm not really the injury type of guy, so it's kind of weird. But we got both types because they're both about to run out, and then PB&J. So just a lot of recovery. Make sure I get my protein in while I can't run. You know what sucks about running is I can't burn as much calories. You know, the doctor said that I'm not gonna get played. Doctor said I have a hip flexor strain and IT band syndrome, so it could put me out for sure for a week, but maybe even 2 weeks. So I'm like, damn. I'm like, damn, bro. That really hurts. But what I realize is, I mean, it could have been worse. At any situation you look at it, it could be worse unless you're at like the bottom. But with any experience or any injury or any inconvenience, it could always be worse. You got to really think about it. You might think about the negative energy that you're feeling right there, and obviously, you know, that negative energy might overtake you because you love doing something like how I love running. But you got to realize you got to take this experience into account and how you're going to thrive off of it and how you're going to come back better. And that's what I'm going to show you guys this week. Because, yeah, man, I'm not going to lie, I was pretty pissed. I was pissed that the doctor told me I couldn't run for a week. And when I did my workout on Thursday, yeah, I'm not going to lie, it felt like hell. With this injury, I knew it was bad because it felt like my hip was going to explode. And I was like, okay, well, I've never really had hip pain, so with my hip literally about to explode, what do I do? So I did what everyone told me to do, to go to the doctor. I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty stubborn. I did not want to go to the doctor. But I was like, what do I have to lose? Do I lose the rest of my cross country season, or do I lose my hip, or both? So I went to the doctor, and it's just like, you know, it took a little while to get in. You know, a lot of sick people, sick kids and stuff. But it's just like, you get, bro, where's my butter knife? You get called in, you know, weigh me, you know, all that good stuff. And then we started getting to the actual stuff, the powder. So it's like, well, it's like in my head, like, you know, I'm thinking about what are we gonna eat for breakfast, me and my moms. Like how bad is it? Is it my bone? Is it my muscle? Okay. Doc comes in. Everything, you know, I was very mad that I couldn't run, but I was even more mad when I tried to run. I probably shouldn't have done it. When I tried to run, it just felt like horrible. So I was just like, okay, well, I mean, the doctor has to solve it. So the doctor did solve it. You know, she said I had IT band syndrome and hip flexor strain. She was feeling where it hurts because it hurts right here. And I thought it was my bone because it feels like the bone, but she just said that's just how tight it is, and I strained it like bad. And I should have asked her why, but my coach thinks from workload and like a weak hip. I was like, damn. Because, you know, all that stuff makes me mad because I don't want to be weak. I try strengthening you guys. I try strengthening myself through this. So I'm like, bro, come on, man. Like, how much I gotta do for this, bro? So I'm like, all right. So she tells me I can't run for a week. A little bummed out. Actually, I'm really bummed out. Really bummed out. And I'm like, so what can I do to like stay in shape? I'm like, so I didn't say that, but I first asked her like, because when people are injured for running, we usually just do stationary biking. So I was like, can I do stationary biking? She was like, cause she's seen me limping. Like I've been limping this whole weekend. Like the weekend was where I actually got to recover. It didn't hurt that bad. It hurt horribly on Thursday and Friday. Well, she was like, you can, but if you start to feel the pull, just get off of it, because you're gonna risk worse. You're gonna not give it time to heal. So I was like, damn. But she was like, what I do recommend this week, if you don't want to stay out of shape, is obviously stretching, like to heal it and to like take the tightness off and stuff, but to also swim. I was like, swim? In my head I was like, I don't swim for cardio. Like I don't think ever. No, that's a joke. I have swim for cardio during a workout or for a workout. But I was like, okay. And she gave me all kinds of stretches, you know. She gave me all this stuff. Talked to my coach, talked to my family. Cause I was really bummed out, but I was too stubborn enough to like think that could have been worse. That's why I'm coming on here to tell you guys. Like it could always be worse, genuinely. Like if you think you have it bad, just, I know comparison is like the thief of a lot of things, especially joy, but you have to like really compare yourself to other things going on in the world. Like you can't run for a week, some people can't run for the rest of their lives. That's how I put it in perspective. Like, you know, when you complain about school, like, bro, I don't want to go to school. There's somebody out there in this world right now, there's a kid right now, like probably struggling in their family and like a little home and stuff, and they can't go to school for whatever the reason is. Man, they would kill to go to school. So, I mean, you really got to put in perspective like other people's lives, and you got to be sympathetic and empathetic. Like, how good do you have it, genuinely? Your everyday life is somebody's dream life. And that sucks. Because a lot of people don't get to realize that. A lot of people don't get to realize that. Our everyday lives is somebody's dream life. And we have to be grateful for every day that we walk on this earth and live. Because, yeah, although we have inconveniences and like, you know, not the best days, like, we all have those days. You gotta know what I'm talking about. We all have those days where we feel like giving up. We feel like, you know, I mean, generally just feel like giving up. All those inconveniences and those mistakes that you make from everything going on around you in your environment, it causes you to make mistakes. But how do you bounce back from those mistakes? How do you create those lessons to be learned to put onto other people? And that's where you have to build that mind. You have to build that growth mindset. When you have a growth mindset, it's like, it's kind of like superpower. You put everything into perspective and you're like, okay, well, it could have went this way, but since I made this, it went this path. But then sometimes when you do make that mistake, you're like, damn, I could have went this way, solved all of these like these 5 or 8 or 10 more problems that I just created for myself. You just gotta calm down. You just gotta let it rest. You gotta let your mind rest. Remember, we're all not perfect. So, you know, this is episode 1 of the series of what I do in my recovery week. You know, I'm gonna go stretch. Well, eat the basically pre-workout meal because I'm gonna stretch and lift. But you don't have it as bad as you think you do. And that's gonna be the episode of this series. You know, there's a lot of talking, a lot happening, but tomorrow I will do a day in the life. So stay tuned in, guys. Let's impact the world.